Page 28, the swing. 3/4 time, 1 sharp. We're in G major or E minor. Look at the bottom. Last few measures. That's G major chord. I figure we're in G major. One hand at a time. Let's make sure we got the notes and the rhythms and the fingerings first. And now we have a pickup beat, so we're coming in on beat 3. 3 and 1, 2. Right hand starts here, we're here. 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 2, 2. You get that idea? Let's go over to measure 8. The numbers at the beginning of the lines in the boxes are measure numbers. So measure 8 is the last measure of the second line. You're here for the half note, and you lift up and move. Just lift up and move. The beat has to be steady. Don't mess up the beat. You're just going to cut this A a little bit short, so you got time to get up here. The G has to be on beat 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 2. And basically, hopefully you know the names of these notes. You're playing the same thing you just played it, but you're an octave higher. So forth. Now go down to the 4th line. It's the last 2 measures, or measure, what, 16? You're ending with a half note here, and then you get a bass clef. Well, that note in bass clef is the B, right here, right below middle C. So you got to go from here to here and 3rd finger on that. Here to here. Won't this be fun? Good luck with that. You just lift up and move, just here. So you're cutting the G a little bit short because the beat has to be steady. 1, 2, and. It's like I put in an 8th rest in there, so give me time to get down there. And then we play this down here. Last line, 1 and 2 and. Then the left hand plays the next one, and then the right hand way up here. And then the left hand gets the end of it. Speaking of left hand, let's look at that. You're starting out here, but you're going to move around. And that G, the quarter note here, and it happens in most all these measures, that first note is tied. You don't play it again, you just add the other note to it. So it's here. Rest. Don't forget the F sharp, it's in the key signature. Rest, come down. Rest. Rest. Now you want to get to the point eventually where you can be moving around. You're only going down or up 1 key at a time, 1 note at a time more or less. You want to get to where you can feel that, where you can do that without looking at the keyboard. Eventually, you have to look at first. But eventually get to where you can do that without looking at the keyboard. It will really help you out later on, because later things are going to be happening and you just don't have time to look. So we want to develop this feel now as we can. Then at the end of the second line, you see the treble clef in the bottom staff. So on measure 9, we're in treble clef up here. It's the same thing we just did. You're an octave higher. Until you get to measure 17, now the bass clef comes back. Now you're way down here, C, G. This is great. Then the last line, you're here, rest, and then treble clef, so you're up here. And then the right hand, and then the left hand gets that chord at the end as a G and a B with an 8VA over it. So you go up an octave, so you're up here. Don't care which fingers you use, 2 and 4 is fine. Works good. Generally we wouldn't use the thumb because the thumb is a short finger and we got to reach further to use the thumb, so 2 and 4 is fine. Then put the hands together. The beginning, 1, 2. And make sure you come up on the left hand on beat 3. That note in the right hand has to be by itself. 1, 2. Idea, and all this moving around, that's basically what the piece is. Then we can add the articulation, and the only articulation here are the slurs. Just lift up just slightly on the slurs at the beginning. It's like taking a breath. Again. It's a C and a B, by the way. I know it sounds wonderful, but that's what's written, so there it is. See here again, the slur, we're taking advantage of between the slurs, so we're lifting up and moving. Now you're moving both hands here, but you can do it one hand at a time, more or less. See, on measure 8, you're here. During the rest, you lift up and move, and then as you're playing these, move the left hand up, because it's got to come up here. It's easier than trying to move both hands at the same time. That's tricky. We don't recommend it if possible, at least I don't. So one hand at a time, and it happens fairly quickly, but it's still one hand at a time. It gives you a chance to focus on one hand and then the other. Just don't be too slow with it. Lift up. Rest. And right, you're going to lift up. Get the right, don't worry about the left hand, and just leave it there if you need to, or you can get it out of the way. It's up to you. Right there, and then as you're playing this, you get the left hand down. So you have to, we do practice the hand movements if we have to. That's fine. So you're here. But don't mess up the beat. The beat's got to be steady. You know, it's not a fast piece. Well, sort of fast. But, you know, just good luck with that. And this last line is all slurred together. Connect everything. You know, everything's connected together. And once you have a handle on that, then we can try the dynamics. They're giving 2 dynamics. I don't think that's necessary, but they're doing it. Okay. The right hand, they want it moderately loud. You'll have to decide what that is. Just sort of loud. The left hand, they're showing soft. I'd do soft anyway because the melody's in the right hand. That's what we want to hear. Into the second line, you have a decrescendo. You're going to come down to the right hand is coming down to soft. The left hand's going to go down to very soft. Don't slow down, although I feel a slow down, but don't. And now we're moderately soft in the right hand, and you're going, and you back up to moderately loud. So it's similar to what you were doing at the beginning, except the left hand now is very soft. Now I'm a little confused by their markings because they have the crescendo at the end of the second line from moderately soft up. Well, that takes you to moderately loud. Well, if you're going to be moderately loud, then the left hand can be soft, not very soft. So I'm wondering if maybe they want you to be moderately soft on measure 9. And the MP actually belongs at measure 9. So you're starting the beat, the last beat in measure 8 at soft. And go up to to moderately soft. In my opinion, that's probably what they want. So the music, I believe, is a little misleading. You don't start moderately soft to get louder. You're going to start soft and go up to moderately soft, is what I'm saying. So you can take that MP and put it at the beginning of measure 9 and just cross out the M on measure 8 and start soft. And then on measure 16, all of a sudden you're moderately loud. And here, I would do this more like a moderately soft. And there is a retardando there on measure 16. Now, a retardando means gradually slow down. And it doesn't say where you stop. So in my mind, we're going to gradually slow down for the rest of the piece. Well, I don't know about that, but that's what they want. So take your time slowing down. Don't slow down too much too soon. Then last line crescendo. Here. So you're actually crescendoing rather than getting softer. Usually when you go up like that, you would decrescendo, you get softer. They want you to get louder there. Okay, get louder. Speed-wise, well, they say soaring as high as your imagination takes you. I think that might be a little dangerous. Don't get too carried away. The metronome marking gives you, I like the 120. It's about twice as fast as we go in the play with me's. So it's that's how I would play it. You'll have to decide what you feel this should. It has a nice motion to a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Make sure you can feel that natural accent. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You want to feel that natural accent all the way through. Then on top of that, they put in pedal at the bottom. I don't know that we need pedal. I mean, we didn't use pedal before, but they put it in there. So what we're going to do is push the pedal down right after you play the notes where it's shown. You're going to leave the pedal down all the way to the end, and you'll raise the pedal with the hand. Is how that works. My tendency is, if I'm going to use pedal in this piece, I'm actually going to pedal the first 2 beats. I'm going to pedal with the left hand in each measure, because the sound with pedal is different than the sound without pedal. So to play the whole piece without pedal and then suddenly add pedal at the end, I don't care for that too much. It just changes the sound too much. We're supposedly, well, in this piece you don't die away, you crescendo to the end, so that helps a little bit. It's just, in my mind, it's the continuity is better, the consistency is better if we use pedal throughout. So I would pedal the first 2 beats in every measure. Idea? That's how I would do it. The book says don't do that. It'll be between you and your teacher. If I were your teacher and you're in front of me, I would put in those pedal markings here. That's just my way of doing it. However, for the play with me, I'm only going to pedal it the way it's shown in the book, and you can adjust whatever. You see, the idea is you learn the piece the way it's written first, and then if you find ways of interpreting it, you can do anything you want as long as you don't violate what the music is telling you to do. Pedal markings are always suggestions, unless maybe it's an etude on pedaling and this is how they want you to do it. Otherwise, pedaling is an optional thing. You have to decide on the sounds you're after and how the pedal can help you do that. That's one of the reasons we always learn a piece without pedal first, so we can hear it clearly. So when you add pedal, you understand the effect that pedal is having to the sound. You have to listen very carefully. So let's do this together very slowly. Double check notes and rhythms, not going to do dynamics. I can't slow down or none of that because we're going to do this with a metronome. Now at the beginning of this, I'm only going to give 2 counts, and you have 8th notes. So it's ready and go and then you begin. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. So be ready at the beginning and make sure your foot's on the pedal at the beginning. If you're going to use pedal at all, get your foot on the pedal for the whole piece. Don't be putting the foot on and off the pedal. Ready and go and. rest. Two, three, tie, two, off.